Hey kids,
Hey.
we are adding a little short disclaimer before this episode starts. So we just watched Hereditary.
Like literally just watched
In the theater.
Just came home from the theater.
And it fucked us up. So
Lots of
we
feelings.
just wanted to let you guys know this is going to get a little emotional.
We talk about some real shit.
Yeah, and also, you guys might have been, if you're going in order, you might have expected Poltergeist to be next, but the release date for this movie was sort of all over the map, and like all of a sudden it popped up on us, and so when a horror movie opens in the theater,
especially one like this that everybody is talking
about, like, yeah, we are going to break the order and like go and watch it, and so you guys will get Poltergeist next week, Hereditary this week, and then
we'll continue the schedule
order
out.
continues.
Yeah.
So we're going to pick back up the podcast just from the beginning. You guys will hear us talking and joking around at the beginning, and then we'll introduce ourselves again. It's going to be like this is terrifying.
And chances are maybe you were as fucked up as we were, and so you're going to
it'll
hear
help
how
you.
jarred we were.
Yeah.
So have fun with that.
Yeah.
Have fun, guys.
And we'll catch you next week.
All right, guys.
All right.
Enjoy.
Have we started this thing?
No,
Okay. Are we not starting it?
that's not how it starts.
Oh, how does it start?
It starts when the energy's right, Jennifer.
Wait, is the energy not right?
Fuck no, it's not, and I don't think it'll ever get there because I'm freaking the fuck out still.
Todd, is this the scariest movie you've ever
Fuck
seen?
yes,
Ever seen?
yes.
I mean, you've only seen like 5
So
horror
out
movies.
of
So
the
this is-
7,
Yes. I can't get any lower. Yes.
rock bottom.
Yes.
Scariest.
Todd is shutting down.
Yeah.
I feel like I was having a good day.
You feel like you were having a
I feel like I was having a good day. I was hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
Friends who would never betray me. And then we went to grab dinner, went to that macaroni grill, got some of that peasant bread, ripped it in half, enjoyed it.
Dude, yeah.
And then,
What'd you get to eat?
You fucking man
oh, yeah,
ripped
that
it in
truffle
half.
mac and cheese.
You love the truffle?
It was pretty good. It was
All
pretty
right.
good. And then, hey guys, let's go see Hereditary. It'll be like a breeze. It'll be like nothing. You guys are fucking liars. I hate all of you. Jen is enjoying this way too much.
We
I
gave
hate you.
so
this
many
is the
outs.
worst.
We said, do you want to do this for the podcast?
And every time I was like, no, but I will because I love
Right.
you guys.
There were
and
multiple
that was
discussions
and we
on this.
appreciate it, Todd.
And you agreed every time.
You did.
like,
and we even said you could leave.
And I didn't.
You didn't.
You didn't
Yep, Todd
leave?
stuck it through the whole time.
Yeah.
And you
did.
only jumped like a little bitch, like under
90 times.
under 12 times.
Wow.
Welcome to the Horror Virgin. I'm Clint.
Yeah, I'm Todd.
I'm Jennifer.
We just got done watching Hereditary. And we have a couple of fucked up people in
Yeah.
this room. They're both like Todd's like face is in his hand.
Yeah.
We probably should have invited a counselor to come sit with us for
A
this
therapist.
one.
Yeah, I definitely need like a grief counselor.
We
for
know
this
quite
shit.
a few therapists between the three of us. We need to call someone.
Between the three of us, there's been a lot of therapy.
Both in the past and probably in the future.
Yeah. Definitely. It works if you work it.
So were you guys fucked up like for different I feel like the both of you were fucked up for different reasons.
Yeah, you guys aren't fucked up for the same reason I am.
Really?
Go on.
I'm a little bit fucked up. Not as much as you two, and I have a feeling you and I were fucked up by the same things in this.
Do tell, Clint.
I was genuinely disturbed. Okay, let me
Hey, let's first say we are going to spoil this movie. So
Fuck
if you've
yeah, we
not
are.
seen this movie
I mean,
yet,
if you haven't figured that out, that we spoil movies.
because this is
Bro,
only the
what do you do?
second
This
episode.
is the second episode. Which was The Exorcist.
that was me trying to do
no,
you.
intro.
Yeah, why are you guys trying to do impressions of
beginning.
me?
Because you're just so impressionable. Impressionable.
I'm like a trendsetter or whatever.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
We just wish we had your voice, that's all.
It is the voice of an angel. Ladies!
I am single ladies.
And lonely.
Laugh through the pain.
So, yeah.
Laugh through the pain.
Oh, there were so many jokes I wanted to make throughout the entire movie.
Thank you for
couldn't.
not making
Because
them.
it's the only thing. It's the only thing I can do to not.
crowded. It was a
It
crowded
was.
theater. Yeah,
It
we weren't
was
sure
crowded.
how that was going to turn out, but I'm glad we got tickets in advance, or else
Yeah.
we would have been sitting in that front row.
Yeah,
Then
you're
you
welcome,
Really
by
would have
the
been
way.
fucked up. Yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
would have been
you.
fucked up both mentally and chiropractically.
I was fucked up by the disturb factor of the first half.
Yeah.
I get fucked up in every single movie where a child dies.
Yeah.
As long as it's handled properly. Like there's some comedies where kids die and that's fine.
I just don't
Especially if
watch
they're
those.
assholes.
Yeah.
But
What?
But I
Are we
don't
talking like Dewey
kids.
Cox? Are we
I
talking
don't
like Dewey
kids,
Cox?
Todd.
He had the worst case of being cut in half I ever saw. Damn it, doctor, speak English. We ain't no scientists.
How much more of that movie do you know? Can we hear some more?
All of it.
So you and I talked about Pet Cemetery. Like Pet
Yes.
Cemetery really fucked me up.
It fucked me up as a kid.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the reason I fucking hate you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anytime
movies. I hate
a
horror movies.
kid dies, like holy shit, like this
Yeah.
was awful, and it was
Should,
yeah. What?
should we just like go through it?
Let's
Yeah.
go? Well, yeah, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Because the movie opens up with like the grandma dying.
Yeah, with her obituary.
Damn, what'd you call her? Shit. Granny's a bitch.
I do not
Jen
think
said
she
it.
was
You
the
heard her.
hero of the movie.
You
the
don't think
grandmother.
the grandmother was the hero?
No, I don't think she was a good
Was it
guy
the fact
in
that she
movie.
died before it began that made you? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that she
yeah.
was a witch and like ruined everybody's lives.
Well, was she a witch?
Yes.
A little bit.
Well, yes, she was a witch.
I don't know if you can call her a witch.
I mean, what else would you call her?
Probably a witch, but I said
Queen
it first.
Lee.
You heard me.
She's just a
Nailed it.
medium, Todd.
No, she's not a medium.
That's what witches always say to make themselves sound not like witches.
No, they're like, I'm not a witch. I'm just into Wicca.
Yeah, you're a witch.
You want to watch?
Yeah, that lady right
You want to
behind
watch
you.
The Craft? Would that be easier for you?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
her name?
probably.
No.
Skeet Ulrich.
So yeah, so she,
Ew. Skeet Ulrich.
All right,
I wonder
so-
if somebody's done a Skeet Ulrich podcast out there.
Spinoff.
I'm pretty sure
Everybody?
Skeet Ulrich has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
It's just
5
called I'm
episodes.
Still Alive with Skeet Ulrich.
He talks about his day.
So the movie opens with the grandmom dead.
Yes, and her speaking at the funeral and not giving the most. She wasn't giving a eulogy that I would want in my funeral.
No, she did not
Yeah,
like
she
her
was
mother
like-
at all.
My
Yeah.
mom is.
I mean, yeah.
Like it feels weird talking about her because she didn't talk. Yeah.
She was real private,
She
yeah.
was basically like, look, she had no friends, so I don't
Yeah.
know why people are here.
Well, no, she
Yeah.
had friends. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
She had friends.
They're all naked.
Yeah, I
That's
really
actually-
do feel
that's
like
actually true.
I really do feel like they should have let me know going in that there's a lot of old naked dick in this movie.
Yeah, there is.
'Cause then I
Very
would have been a
tiny,
lot
by the
more
way. Did
excited.
you get the size of those dicks? Yeah, very, very small.
I mean,
Yeah.
what are we comparing it
Yeah,
to?
Clint, they were small.
Anywho,
Hand me
Todd's
that-
looking shiftily around the room for all of our listeners. I don't know.
Hand me
if
that
he's trying to
ruler.
conceal.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
So the grandmother's dead.
Grandmother's dead.
The
Have we
awkward,
mentioned-
awkward funeral. That scene didn't last very long.
No,
She
it
just kind
didn't.
of like talked
No,
a
it
little bit. We immediately see their daughter. So there
Yes.
are two kids. What's the son's name?
Peter.
Peter and Charlie.
And Charlie. Yes.
Charlie's the daughter.
daughter.
Just to
We
not be confused.
immediately learned that Charlie's odd.
Yes,
Like
she's a
very,
little odd.
very weird. They didn't really clarify if she has some sort of like personality disorder, but like they kind of insinuate like there's some sort of like mental
Yes.
disorder
Or
going
like
on.
behavioral issues.
I think it was more
Right.
behavioral, not cognitive. Like she
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
had
So-
facial deformities as well, or she was ugly. Would you rather me say that?
She's 15. No, don't say that. She was a unique looking lady.
Would you rather me say she was hot? She's 15. I feel weird with that.
I thought she was
How
like
about
in
you just
middle
not
school.
comment on her appearance?
Well, I mean,
I
she's
think
a
that'll
woman.
work.
That's all she's. Oh wait, my bad. Patriarchy lunch table.
Yeah, I'll make a note.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's weird. She's sleeping in the treehouse. In
Yeah.
the freezing that doesn't bother her. She didn't turn the heaters on. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she
then
didn't use the heaters. I noticed
The
that.
heaters weren't there in that first scene, right? Like they weren't
I
even
don't-
up there.
She did.
They weren't
Charlie
on.
didn't
I don't
use
know if
them.
they were there or
Okay.
not. I can't imagine. I think the parents probably would have put them up there, but I don't know. Yeah.
so super weird chick. She's like doodling
She
on
is
her
weird.
notebook, like in the middle of the
yeah, like
in the
horrific
middle of the
looking
funeral.
people.
I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
I can't remember.
Like she's like 7, and that's how she makes.
So we got shots of like what she was drawing because I,
think
don't remember
so.
that
Yeah.
at all.
They were a little unsettling.
Okay.
Like not straight up like drawing demons, but like the people were
Well,
warped. And the
Peter's
girl said
girl-
at
yeah.
one point that she made her look like I'm not going to use the word she used. But that
Retarded.
yes, I'm not going to use that word. I'm going to say that she had Down syndrome.
She was
That maybe she was
disabled.
cognitively delayed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just said, yeah, that's how she draws everybody. It's like she sees their souls.
You think that chick's soul was cognitively disabled?
I don't know. Yeah, and so then we see the the slacker stoner brother, Peter. And Gabriel Byrne's trying to get them all in the car to go to the funeral. They have the funeral. She comes back and she's like, am I not sad enough? What's up?
Gabriel Burns?
Gabriel Byrne is the dad.
Gabriel Byrne is, yeah.
I don't know what his name
Is the actor that plays the dad?
Yes.
I recognize him from other things. He's good.
Yeah,
he was
you
really good in this movie,
how
too.
You won't shut the fuck up about Man in the Iron Mask.
Yeah. Isn't he one of the guys?
He's the main guy.
The Musketeer?
Yeah.
Musketeer number one?
Yeah. He's not
D'Artagnan?
D'Artagnan.
Who's D'Artagnan?
D'Artagnan is...
He is D'Artagnan.
No, he is D'Artagnan. I'm going to backpedal.
Just edit it
He
out
is.
so that you were right the
Your
whole
brain
time.
just got crossed with Three Musketeers.
He's just too
Yeah.
terrified.
Chris
Yeah.
O'Donnell.
I was thinking it's Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, but
That's two hot D'Artagnans. What? What did I say?
What? 2 hot D'Artagnans?
Okay.
I'm into it, though.
we're gonna roll
That
with.
sounds delicious.
Okay, so they're at the funeral, then she comes back, and then what happens? They're going about their lives. She's doing her little
It was like a week
gallery.
later. It was like a week later. Old D'Artagnan gets
Oh,
a phone
yeah,
call from the
cemetery, yeah.
Somebody disemboweled.
Desecrated.
Desecrated the grave.
Desecrated the grave, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I thought, and we get to know the characters a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we follow the mom,
Yeah.
and she.
You
is
figure out that she was estranged from her mom for a while. The grandma that died.
because she goes to the
Right.
grief counseling
Right.
thing, the lost a loved one thing.
Yeah.
She goes through some of her mom's old stuff.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
sees the
But doesn't really
spiritualism book and then sees her mom standing in the corner like a creepy bitch.
Yeah. And the letter that her mom said, I'm sorry I didn't tell you things, and it'll all be worth it one day. The sacrifices or the loss will all be worth it, on that letter that she left
Yeah.
inside the spiritualism book. But she
Right.
didn't want to look very far.
Right.
I feel like I remember very little before the decapitation.
You mean the end of the movie?
No,
not
the
that
Oh,
first
sorry.
one.
There was
Main
so much
decapitation.
decapitation
Yeah,
in
Oh
this
my
movie.
gosh. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a theme.
Yeah. Everybody's just trying to get some head. Nailed it.
So she's just working on her shit.
Yeah, she's working on her miniatures because
So
she's
she-
got
yeah,
some.
So what do you call her? Like what?
She's an artist. I would call her an artist.
Okay, just an artist.
She's. I mean, I think it's for an art show.
Is that a thing? Like, do people do miniature art
I
shows?
think so. I have a friend who does miniatures. I mean, I don't know about art
Professionally?
shows. No, as a hobby.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Now I did look up somebody. This was the article I was reading earlier, and I don't know how much this connects, but it was about a lady. Anyways, okay, so she's known as the mother of forensics, because modern forensics, because she makes miniature crime scenes. Like she would go to crime scenes and she'd make like miniature dioramas that were exactly like the actual crime scenes. And this was before they had any kind of forensics, and so she created all these things in there in Harvard, and that's how people started to learn how to do forensics, like CSI stuff and blood spatter, because of these miniatures that she made.
Well, and the mom does sort of, maybe you're getting to that, sorry. The mom does sort of do that with
She does.
some of the crime scenes.
Okay, and the grandmother's name had Lee in it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this lady's last name is Lee.
Okay,
I just
there you
can't
go.
find what her actual
Well,
name is. But I said Lee's parents.
The picture of her, the grandmother at the end, was Queen Lee.
Queen Lee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this lady is.
I don't remember any of this.
We just watched this movie,
I do
Clint.
not remember.
I don't think it's really connected, but she was also like really socially awkward, like the daughter. So I don't know if there was a little bit of inspiration in that. But yeah, so she's preparing for this art exhibit.
That's like 6 months away. Like, it's really far away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's got plenty of time to play with her little miniature dolls or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it seems like she's weird with her family. Her family has kind of a strange vibe to it, but like her mom just died, so I don't know.
I mean, they reveal as to why they have a weird dynamic over the course
Exactly,
of the
but
movie.
yeah,
You don't
like-
know
Right.
at this point, but yeah.
Oh yeah, but at the beginning, like she just seems a little bit kind of snippy with her son. Like they seem distant, and yeah,
And
Yeah.
he just seems like pretty normal pothead.
Yeah.
Right? Like hates his parents, whatever.
Yeah.
Has a crush on a girl.
That butt though.
Huh?
No, that's just that scene where he was like
got
the
good
camera,
weed.
the camera's like staring at her ass.
Oh yeah.
It's like the first time you see him in school. Yeah.
Okay, now I have
that
a
shit made me laugh.
question.
Yeah,
So
hit me with it.
he's texting someone,
He's
right?
texting the guy next to him. Yeah.
Oh, the guy next to him. Okay.
Yeah, remember the guy that looked over and was like,
Oh,
and gave
okay,
him a
because
thumbs
it was
up?
like sexting type. He
What?
was.
No, he said, "Bring your
What?
dick."
Yeah, bring
because
your
there
dick.
would be
Okay,
girls
all
at the
right.
party.
Yeah,
What?
I got confused. I
What
thought
does your
he was
sexting look like?
I thought he was texting the girl, and then when he got
No.
to the party, the girl was like, "I'm like, why isn't she into it? Wasn't she
Because-
wanting the
Holy
dick?"
shit! If a girl texts me, "Bring your dick," I would leave immediately. I'd leave
Right.
right
You need to
now.
wait for the
Go
party.
It has
Right,
been
yeah.
months,
Oh.
ladies.
And he gets invited to a party, and this
Yeah.
is where it all starts to go to shit.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah. The
Yeah.
movie was not that bad up to this point, right?
Yeah,
Honestly,
like for the
you.
first 10 minutes.
No,
yeah, it was
fuck.
cool. It was
The
like,
movie
yeah, they
was
have
the
a cool
scariest movie I saw when grandmother was in the corner.
Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was
Like that was enough for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I thought.
Did you think maybe that's what it was going to be the rest of the movie? Like, oh, they're going to see ghosts.
Like that grandma's just going to haunt her?
No, I don't know. I never
You don't
try
try
and
to pick
figure
it apart.
I never try and figure out the movie because the movie's job that I've paid money to see is to tell me a story. It's not for me to try and figure out the story. So I never do that. I don't like try and figure out who Kaiser Sose is.
You don't want to feel like intellectually superior?
No, I know I am. I don't need to figure
You
it
don't need to
out.
prove it with
I can
movies?
sit back and enjoy it. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I really was kind of trying to guess, and there were a couple of things that I maybe saw coming a little bit. But I
It's
was
Kevin
just,
Spacey. Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Sose.
I thought he was cognitively delayed.
No, it's verbal, Ken. It's fine. Whatever. What are we talking about?
Yeah, Hereditary.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the much better movie.
I think we're trying
Usual
to.
Suspects.
I'm trying to avoid the part where they go to the party.
So anyway, so the mom makes Peter, the son, bring Charlie, the daughter, to the party.
Yeah, because he told her it was a school barbecue, which schools don't have barbecues.
Well,
Well,
I mean, they're in Utah.
are they in Utah?
Yeah,
like
look
a
at license
barbecue at a
plates.
friend's house or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's clearly a party, and she's like, "Are you gonna be drinking?" Nope, I promise.
I mean,
Yeah, take your sister.
I don't. I do believe him that he was not going to drink.
No, he was gonna
He
get
was just going to
high.
get high.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
laid.
Well, probably
he was
not that
gonna
last
try.
one. Yeah, of course he was going to try. I mean,
He is a man, right?
right.
So they're going, and he wants to go smoke pot with the girl he has a crush on, and
And Charlie has a nut allergy.
yes,
Yeah.
and they've established that because every time they like freak out anytime she eats anything to see if there's nuts in
Yeah,
it.
like a candy bar.
Yeah, which well, I mean, if it's that extreme, you should always have your EpiPen, right?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Who doesn't have an EpiPen?
And
Especially if she's
got
going
a
to-
big pocket, like
Yeah.
that she carries like dead bird heads around.
Well,
it.
she also clearly.
yeah.
She
we
also,
forgot where she cut the head off the bird.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
fucking.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
that
got
was
the head off
fucking
the bird.
weird. That was like the first sign. Like, oh, this movie's
Well,
gonna
and
be.
that's like
this
a
movie's gonna be
spiritual,
fucked
like
up.
a folklore sign that somebody's going to die when a bird like hits a window or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
What does it mean when the psycho 13-year-old daughter cuts the head off with scissors and pockets it?
Is she fucked up?
That she gonna lose her head? Maybe.
It probably does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she eats the nuts and she like starts going into shock and her throat's closing and she's like,
Who ate the
flipping
nuts?
out.
I'm sorry.
Who ate?
What are we talking about right now?
We also need.
The 13-year-old girl.
We also need to talk about.
I'm out. I'm out. I thought we were talking about the 90 seconds of that video I
I was
watched
like,
earlier.
it was thrilling.
Yeah, how old is she? I don't even know.
She's like 13.
She's 13. They say it at some point.
I feel like she's probably like going to be a freshman in high school, or is a freshman in high school.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're in the same school. I mean,
yeah.
I guess it could be like a K through 12
Like a
situation,
7 through
but
12, yeah.
Sure. That's probably more likely.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I don't think the mom would like force the son to bring her along if they weren't at the same school, which she shouldn't have forced her to. Anyways,
I mean, it was
Right.
really the mom's fault, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Anyway, we forgot to mention that that Charlie immediately sees visions of her grandmother.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
she's sitting
Yes.
outside at school, and she's
Oh, yeah,
the grandmother's like calling to her. Or something.
Yeah.
even
like
walks
in
out
a-
into their front yard and sees the grandmother sitting in the fire, like
Yeah.
the paganistic fire thing. And
Yeah, a
she's
fell.
not in fire, but the ring of fire that she's sitting inside of. Yeah.
She fell into it.
No, this isn't a shitty Johnny Cash song.
I like that song.
Of course you do.
I know the person who wrote it.
Johnny Cash.
I know. No, she eats a cake that has nuts in it.
Thank you for being specific.
You're welcome.
She put them nuts in her mouth.
Yeah, and then her throat started to swell up.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
Okie doke.
I'm gonna stop.
So she starts like I don't know why he didn't just call an ambulance or something. Well, I mean, I don't know why he didn't have an EpiPen.
Well, he was.
I mean, they were
he
pretty.
was
They were.
stoned.
He's 17 and
Yeah.
high.
He had
He's
just
not making the
exhaled
best
He was
huge
decisions.
high, and they
bong
were
hit.
kind of far out, but still, I said the same thing in
And
the
I
movie.
was like,
I'm like,
he's
why the
stoned. He's
fuck-
going to drive like 20 miles an hour to the hospital too. Like she's going to die on the way. So she's like flipping
Well,
out in the back seat.
she did.
She did, but not because he.
I mean,
would've
honestly,
died
she
either
probably would have
way,
died.
guys.
Yeah, she probably would have died on the way.
She would have.
Honestly, I feel like he just wanted to ease her suffering and put her out of her misery.
Hey, what was in the road? Was it a deer?
No, it was
or
like a
something?
fox or something
Was
like
it
that.
okay?
Okay,
So
there
there
was
was
some
the
kind of
dead
dead
dog thing at
animal.
the end. Do you think it was that?
No, it wasn't the dog.
That was-
no.
But it looked like a dead dog in the road.
It was a furry animal, but
So
it wasn't
anyway.
that dog. That dog was their dog.
Oh.
I didn't think they had a dog.
Remember because the dog started barking?
What movie did you watch?
I remember the evil dog showing up at the end. I don't remember seeing the dog
That's the same
before
dog.
that movie.
I mean, the dog's not a big plot point. Okay, so anyways, they're driving. She can't breathe, so she sticks her head out the window.
Right.
He's going like 80 because he has to go to the hospital. And then I looked away, so I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
no.
Oh,
but-
you didn't
Oh,
see it?
yeah,
No,
you
I
missed
didn't see it.
You
Nope.
missed the decap.
Oh.
For sure.
Well, they didn't actually show the decap. You just kind of
they
hear
showed
it.
her hitting it.
Oh, did they? I
They-
can't remember.
You watched the
They
whole
sh-
thing?
Yeah, I don't look away. I paid. So yeah, I mean they show it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not It's real
Do
gross.
you see her head go flying?
No.
That's what I thought
no.
because I couldn't tell. So after it
They
happened,
sort of just
I
show the
couldn't
impact.
tell if her, like, you see a shot of him and it's like, this is the worst part of the movie. Like, just, like disturbing wise.
Yeah, that fucked me up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
and
like
he's just
zoning in on
sitting
his
there.
face. And so I was sitting there the whole time. I'm like, I wonder if her head is still attached to her body or not. Like, that's
well,
what I kept.
didn't know because I wasn't looking right at the impact, so I didn't know how much of her was actually out the window. Like I
That
was
too, if
imagining,
the
like,
body
she just
fell
got
out the
cut in
window,
half.
or
Yeah.
if I mean, what if she was still alive and he never turned around, and then she died?
Or if like because the camera's on him for like a good 30 seconds before he starts driving again. If she'd have been like, we should go to the hospital.
I still can't.
Oh my God, you're still alive.
All right.
Woo!
Why'd you slow down?
Yeah.
Peter, can't breathe back here.
Yeah. Keep
Remember me? Your sister?
Yeah, that whole thing was tough to watch. So
It was.
So he's in shock. He drives home.
Yeah, and just
I'm
parks her like
God
decapitated body right in
damn
front of the
it.
front door.
Oh yeah. So he
Yeah.
doesn't even like call the cops or anything. He drives
Yes.
home, goes to bed,
Yeah. I don't
doesn't go to sleep.
He didn't want to get caught hot.
Yeah, I mean, guys, curfew's a thing.
He still made it back by 11.
Yeah, he was
He's
like,
good to
they're
go.
already home.
He's laying in bed, eyes akimbo, like super wide, like a cokehead.
If I go to sleep, this never happens. It would have been really funny if he had come back out and been like, I don't know what happened.
Right. Whose
We
car is
came
this?
home.
Well, yeah.
She was still alive when we came home.
I don't know.
She must have came back out here and something
You
happened.
know, Charlie's always doing weird shit with heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she kind of is. So, anyways, he's staring, and we just look at him.
Oh,
and
God,
I love
this
how
was
they kept
awful.
focusing on
Yeah.
him and his reaction to all of this.
So
Because
disturbing.
then the mom, this is when it really started to fuck with me.
I'm going to Starbucks or
then-
whatever she said. Like she's
I'll
going
be back
somewhere.
in 20, and then just like
No, you
losing her
hear her like
shit.
breathing. Like it was more than just her screaming. Like it was
Did
like.
anybody else think for a split second that like she was just that she wasn't going to see it somehow, that she was just going to leave and then go to Starbucks and then
No.
it's
I don't
No.
think
whatever.
that.
Okay.
Then we get the reaction shot of the chick in Starbucks handing her drink in the
whatever.
drive-thru.
She still
Ma'am,
doesn't
here's
know.
your no whip foam latte, and you have a headless corpse in your back.
It really
Have a
was one-
Starbucksy day.
Well, it really was one of those movies where, like, I didn't know if I was going to figure out that something wasn't real or not.
Yeah.
And so for a split second, I thought, well, maybe she's not dead. Maybe there's something else going on here.
And towards the end, they
he
really started
imagined
to
it.
lean into that stuff.
Yes.
But this hadn't really been established yet. Like, is
That's
this
true.
real? Except for her seeing the mother.
Right.
So, anyways, the mom, and oh my God, her reaction to that, like when she was on the floor in her bedroom.
Oh,
like,
that was the scene that fucked me up.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, can we just bring up the fact that the dad,
after the daughter dies,
dad through all of this is kind of okay.
Well,
like it doesn't really
Dude,
seem
D'Artagnan's a
to
rock.
bother him that much.
Well,
so-
no, I mean
really
it bothers
doesn't.
him, but like he's trying to be supportive AF.
He's staying strong for the family.
Yes.
That's a way of taking your mind off your grief, too. Like, you
Yeah.
just have to focus on getting dinner done and getting all the shit done and letting everybody else just wallow, but you're holding yourself together, and that's how you avoid dealing with your issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
D'Artagnan's a solid dude, great
Yeah.
husband.
But I mean, I feel like you see him break every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, fuck, what are you? We're not doing a seance. Which is a good reaction. You shouldn't do seance. Anyways.
Have we learned nothing?
I know.
Did
yeah.
the satanic panic of the 80s teach us nothing, guys? Please.
Yeah, so this is the part that really started to fuck with me, and it just
So
was
did it
like,
start with her on the floor, like losing her shit?
Yeah, no,
After
it started
Charlie
with her
died?
screaming in the driveway.
Right,
yeah, the
right.
whole thing.
Yeah, because I have thought through that. You know, when you have kids, you think through their deaths and how you will handle it, and that's like
Why?
I'm gonna guess not well.
Yeah, like I've thought, like when she was like, I just want to die, I was like, well, yeah, you probably just would, you know, especially when it's something like that, you know. Oh my God. Yeah, that's when I started to feel like I was like getting punched in the stomach.
Yeah, you were crying.
I was like losing it.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I was like, I'm gonna have to go stand over there because I'm getting dizzy. Like I was like, but that's not the part that
normally
really
when you
got
get
me.
dizzy, you shouldn't stand.
Well, yeah, you're probably right. I don't know.
You're probably
I
the
have
best
the
space.
vapors. I just need
I
to
got
go
the
peace
vapors.
out.
Where's your fainting sofa?
Smelling salts, please. I just need somebody to like throw water on me, you know?
Oh, shit.
Okay, yeah, so
I hated this movie.
And then so she wants to go to the grief circle,
Yes.
but then she doesn't, and which I can understand not wanting to go into that. And then Ann Dowd comes out and is like, "Oh, I see you about to leave." La, la, la. Do you guys remember seeing her in the meeting the first time?
Nope.
I don't think so either. And there
I
was
was
an
wondering
empty
that.
chair.
There was an empty chair. Yeah, because I thought we were going to see the grandmother in the empty chair. Like,
Yeah, me too.
But
when they kept going back to it,
didn't
I
do
thought
it.
it was
Yeah.
gonna appear. Yeah.
I do like when she was sharing in that first meeting and it zoomed like all the way out, all the way in, and then showed her like what she could see. Everyone
Yeah.
was like, "What the fuck?" Like
Yeah.
staring at her. That was pretty funny.
So Ann Dowd is like target. Well, she just seems like a friendly soul.
Yes.
Just like, come over and just talk to me. So they're talking. And that's when we find out that she sleepwalks and she poured paint thinner all over her kids and was about to light a match. And she was like, and this is when it really started to get to me. And she was like, I wasn't going to do it. It didn't happen. It wasn't real, but now we still have to deal with it. Like, she like walked right up to the edge and then had to back away and still continue living her life like this shit hadn't happened, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, my son always looks at me like I tried to kill him because I tried to kill him.
Yeah.
You know? And I wasn't even aware of it. So how can I stop myself from trying to kill him again? How can you ever trust your mom again?
You can't.
You
Yeah.
don't.
You call the cops and she goes to jail.
You go to kid jail. That's
yeah.
what you do.
No, she goes to kid jail or whatever jail she belongs in, and then you live your life.
Crazy jail.
Not as a
King of
reincarnated.
Hell.
Yeah, King of Hell. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. So, and Ann Dowd was like, yeah, I lost my grandson and my son.
Son and grandson, they drowned.
Yeah. And that's how she got in. That's how she like connected to her and let her start to open up.
That's how they get you.
That is how they get you, man.
Making up stories about dead kids.
Oh, yeah. Well, it got me. Then they're eating dinner. This is the part that really got me. And I've heard that there's Oscar talk about Toni Collette. Have you?
Nah.
I hope so.
Yeah,
They don't
dude.
give
Not
this type
for
of movie
horror. She
Oscars.
deserves it. Like, she was fucking amazing,
Yeah.
but they're not going to give her a fucking Oscar for a horror movie.
You can win Oscars for horror.
Name 8 people who got Oscars for horror movies.
Jodie Foster,
That's
Anthony
one.
Hopkins,
That's 2.
Jordan Peele.
That's 3.
Okay. You're writing it off. You mean writing?
He didn't specify
Oh, okay.
acting.
I thought you meant.
Oh, Kathy Bates.
You're halfway there.
Silence of the Lambs won Best Picture. That one swept the big
3 of
5.
them
So
are-
that's 5
yeah,
right there.
3 of them are Silence of the
Director.
Lambs.
Well, fuck, that's all of them. Fuck.
Rams.
All right, I lose.
Boom. All
right.
Nailed it.
This is the worst. Name 16.
I probably could do it if I were really bad.
No.
Yeah, so anyway, so she's having this scene at dinner, and God, fuck, this fucked with me. Because they're just talking their shit out. And guys, have you ever had this, like, man, this movie just got, like, this movie is a personification of, like, my biggest nightmare. And this was the scene that was like, it's like, I am incapable of love, and because I've built a family on this, inability to love, I will destroy my whole family. And that's what this movie is about for me. So every time they were, like, talking about, like, trying to kill her kids, or, like, I didn't feel like a mom, I was like, holy shit, my family's gonna. I'm sitting next to my husband, and I leaned over, I was like, I'm not gonna destroy our family, I promise.
Did you say
said
that? to
that?
him?
Yeah.
Wow.
You said that to Court?
This movie fucked with me, man.
Yeah, but you don't just say that, because then the next thing
He
he's
had
gonna
no
think is
idea
be
you were
like,
thinking that, and then now he
had
does.
He's 1,000% going to be like, holy
I
shit,
promise
she's going
I'm
to burn
not
this
gonna
fucking
burn you
place down.
alive.
She's going to take her shirt off and burn the fucking place down.
Oh, but so anyways, they're sitting at the table, and oh my God, and she's like, anyways, they're just blaming. Somebody else is going to have to talk about that part, because
The dad cooked dinner, and then Peter's like, hey, this tastes really good or whatever. And then the mom's like, it tastes really good or whatever. And then he's like, Mom, do you want to say something? And then she loses her shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they're both to blame, but they're not. But how do you not live the rest of your life blaming yourself for something like that?
You do. You always do.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she's probably been thinking she didn't want to go to the party, but that hadn't been said yet. And did you guys see the fucking look on her face?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
She's
like,
amazing.
Holy shit.
She was amazing. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like, I'm so mad at you for speaking that thing out loud that I've been feeling, because now it's a real thing that I have to hear your voice saying in my head for the rest of my life. Yeah. And then, sorry.
Dude, Jen's going through
Oh
some
my
shit right now. Clint, I feel like we could leave.
Yeah.
And it would-
I mean,
we can just go.
This would continue, and
yeah,
it would be fine.
I'm cool with that, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, guys, I've been waiting for you to leave
Yeah.
anyway.
Hey, listeners, you're
The
mad
son
at me.
is kind of being a dick. A little bit.
Yeah, I think he's doing it on purpose to provoke her to say something, because he knows she needs to say it.
Right.
Right.
So I sort of understood that, but you're right. He is sort of being.
But
a
then
dick.
after
Yeah.
she says what she says, he says, well, it might have been your fault
Yeah,
because
she didn't
I
want to
didn't
go
want
to
her
the
to come to the party, and then she came to the
You're
party.
the only one who wanted her to go. Hey, and did you guys notice there was a post with that symbol on it?
Yeah, that's the post
Yeah,
she
that's
hit.
the post.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was before. I thought back to that.
That was
so-
while they were driving. it like locked in on that post while they were driving to the party.
Oh God!
But seriously, some of the best acting I've ever seen.
Oh my
in
God!
that scene. Like, holy shit! Like, give her the Oscar right now for this fucking scene.
And just like the willingness to look ugly and scary and creepy as fuck in that too.
I mean, I'll say this. At this point, she doesn't look creepy as fuck, but she is ugly. She is like grief-stricken, ugly. Like
that's what it looks like.
I don't mean that in like a super bad way, but like she is a mother who has lost a child, recently lost her mother.
Horrifically.
And Toni Collette doesn't seem to age.
She
Can we
doesn't.
talk about that? Like, she looks the same.
Yeah, man, she was good in The Sixth Sense, though. You remember that scene in the car when she's talking about her mom?
Yeah, and she got another, I think, supporting Oscar nomination. She got for The Sixth Sense. I'm pretty sure.
I think that's the only other horror she's been in. Right?
I don't
I
really
watched that
she was
recently.
in Krampus.
I mean, she's no Donnie Wahlberg, but you know, it's fine.
Oh, Donnie.
He's in the opening of Sixth Sense.
Yeah, he was my favorite new kid.
She did an amazing job in this.
Oh yeah, she was.
So anyway, does that scene end sort of there? I mean, I know. No, wait. The dad stops it. D'Artagnan's like, "We're stopping this right now."
And she stands up like she's going to say something again, and then she's like, "All right," and then kind of walks.
And then she
to the
sits
kitchen.
down and looks like she's just going to like jump out of her skin.
Well, and then does she leave? I think she gets up and walks away.
She like walks to the kitchen, and I think.
Well, that's more or less the end of the scene, though, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what they cut to. Can we talk about the transitions for a second? The transitions are bonkers.
Like when it's night and then immediately day.
Like the flip of a switch.
Yeah, and that progressed like throughout the film, which I thought was awesome. Like when she walked down the hallway and it was upside down and then flipped. Yeah,
and there were some times where they would the opening of this movie, and I feel like they maybe did it a couple more times where they would do something with the her miniatures.
Yes,
and they would turn into a real scene.
They did that with the sun. Like it was a zoom of the miniature, and then it just zoomed all the way in, and all of a sudden it was just the scene.
Yeah,
that was
the first time we see the sun.
That was the first shot.
Very well directed.
Oh yeah.
Do you know
this
who
was
this guy
Ari
is?
Aster. Yes.
Okay.
And it was his first feature film. You said he'd done some shorts,
man. Yeah. Oh yeah. He did some shorts, but I don't know anything about him.
He did a great job. I mean, he did a great job. It was really good.
Yeah.
So okay, after the dinner scene, where does it go from there?
Well, there's a fantastic article in Rue Morgue magazine about this, and it's an interview with him. And what he said was the director,
okay.
Ari Aster. Yeah, he said he wanted to make a family drama first to essentially make a serious ensemble character study about grief and trauma, and then have it dissolve into a nightmare.
Yeah, did. That's what he did. Like
that's exactly it. Yeah. But I feel like this is kind of the moment when it starts to.
Yeah, because up to this point, you have seen some of the supernaturally type of shit, like Grandma in the Corner, all that stuff. All that stuff.
Yeah, but that could all be chalked up to just weirdness and grief.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like the spirit of your mom is like helping you. Yeah, okay. And so then this is when she has the dream. When she goes into her son's room and she's looking at him.
Okay, is this the one where like the bugs are on his face?
No, this is before
that. Okay.
This is when. So it's right after we learned that she sleepwalked and she was about to light him on fire. Yeah, and so then we see her wake up and walk into his room, and she's just all of a sudden she just blurts out, "I didn't want to be your mother, and I tried to kill you. I tried to have a miscarriage."
Yeah,
and holy shit, that got me too, man. Yeah. It's like fuck,
dude. That whole scene, and then when that conversation escalates to the point where they're like yelling at each other, and then it cuts to her and she's soaked, cuts to him and he's soaked, and then the fire comes up and she wakes up. That fucked me up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was one of the moments. So I don't think I jerked and like cussed, but like at the end of that scene when she woke up from I literally went, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was attached to another dream sequence though too, right? Weren't there two dream sequences?
Like a couple of dreams in dreams. Because we kept I kept thinking.
Did you guys see Leonardo DiCaprio on there? He was in there.
He was, yeah.
He was 2 levels deep.
Cillian Murphy.
In the dream, yeah. I'd go 2 levels deep on Cillian Murphy.
Me too.
Hey,
is he on your list too?
No, but my list isn't laminated. My list is one person. It's Jessica Chastain. Get at me, Chastain.
This and A Quiet Place. Like just really like
I haven't seen A Quiet Place.
Parent anxiety.
Yeah.
Because you were talking earlier about how it gets you when kids die in horror movies. And
for sure.
It bothers me, but what really bothers me, and this Pet Sematary does this really well, is when you see the parents' reaction to it after.
Yeah.
Like the grief that the parents
and so
feel.
A Quiet Place was easier to handle because we fast forwarded a few years.
Yes, and you just see glimpses of it. And that's more anxiety about, I think, like new life, or continuation of life for like maintaining your family. And
that's right. 'Cause
Pregnant
she's
again.
pregnant.
Just replacing what was lost.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it, but that's in the trailer. Like, I've seen that because that's in the trailer. Yeah, that's not really a huge spoiler.
Spoiler.
But, okay, so after the fight in the dream where she reveals, to us at least as the audience, that she never wanted to be a mom, that she was thinking about killing him, but she was also very honest that she's glad it didn't happen. She's glad that she's a mom. She loves him.
And look, let me tell you, I am a parent and I have felt all of those things. As parents, like, it is so stressful to have kids and be responsible for another life and to constantly judge yourself. And it's easy. Like, sometimes you think, gosh, this pressure is too much and I just can't handle it. And so if I didn't have kids, I wouldn't have that pressure. And that does not mean you don't want to have your kids. And it doesn't mean you regret your kids. It's just something that you live with when you have children.
I'd imagine that those are things that everyone deals with. I don't have kids because there's no one in my life that has ever loved me enough to want to have kids with me. But
well, but, and I say that to say, I don't think that means that she's a terrible person. And I don't think that conversation is supposed to show us that she's a terrible person. I think it's supposed to show us that she has issues she hasn't dealt with.
Well, yeah, that's very clear.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's a theme in here, is that this family does not talk to each other and does not deal with things.
D'Artagnan he's a rock, but
does he kind of seem like a therapist? Like he might be a therapist?
He does sort of seem like a therapist.
I seriously think he is way too passive in this. Like, she's having trouble sleeping. She's sleeping in the treehouse, and she's sleeping in Charlie's sleeping bag, which killed me.
And that was another thing that got me too.
Yeah.
Like,
and
when he was like, "You're not coming back, you're bringing the blanket." You know, just creating that distance.
Yeah.
That's when you start to see the fracture of the family.
But he's sleeping just fine. And I just got very frustrated when shit started to go down and he wouldn't believe her.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happens all the time in horror movies. Like, one of the spouses just doesn't believe the other, and it's so fucking frustrating.
I mean, would you, if like your girlfriend or your wife or whatever was like, "Hey, I just conjured up our child, come down here and I'll show you," I'd be like, "Well, you're fucking insane."
Okay.
But
in the first part, but then when he saw what was happening, and then refused to back her up over he acted like she was crazy. I'm like, dude, you saw what happened in the fucking room.
It's because as a man, he lives in the science world and he cannot accept that supernatural as easily as she can. Also,
I feel like that's a cliche in the horror movies, though. Like the dad just not getting on board with anything.
Right, because the dad is the one who's supposed to maintain order, and when the shit goes down, you can't maintain.
He doesn't know
order.
how to handle it. Yeah,
and clearly, she's had issues in the past. Like, she tried to burn her kids alive.
Yes,
not
nothing
tried
wrong with
to.
that.
Almost.
Nothing wrong with that.
Kidding.
So, like, I mean,
joke to ease the tension.
We've all been there. We have all been there, ladies.
Okay, one thing I did notice, and we watched this in the theater a day or two after opening night, like, anytime there was some crazy thing, the whole theater would kind of like exhale and laugh, you know?
Yeah.
And the moment when they both looked under the table, too, I was like, okay.
There was some comedy.
Thank you for that, just like to dump the pressure off a little bit.
There was some comedy in this movie. I remember laughing a few times.
I mean, I felt like there was a lot of comedy laughing at me because I was.
You were losing your shit.
I mean, I had head and hands. I had both my hands on the side of my face for probably a solid 15 minutes after the girl lost her head.
I didn't think you were going to make it.
Shit, when Peter sees Charlie after she dies in the corner of her room, of his room, and her head starts to fall off, and it becomes
the ball.
Oh my God!
I remember you had a reaction to that, and I was like, "Does he know something I don't know?" Because I mean, I thought it was scary, but I didn't think it was that.
No,
scary.
it just really fucked me up, man.
Yeah.
I hated this movie.
I mean, look, and this is, I guess, a compliment. If you hadn't been there, it would have been a lot more intense for us. So you were comic relief. So at least you were
not
there.
So much for me. Like, I was just.
I didn't look over.
Well, but it was almost for me like a relief when it started to be the supernatural elements, because I was scared of that.
Yeah, and much like Pet Sematary, when other people start dying, it helps me recover from the first trauma, the trauma from the first one.
Because you have something else to focus on. It's like emotional cutting, you know?
Yeah. I'm like, if everybody dies at this point, it would be better for my psyche.
I know.
100% at the end of the movie when it was like just so fucking scary and I was freaking out. I was just like, I want this person. I don't want to reveal who it is yet. I want this person to die so this movie is over.
Yeah.
I want this to be over. I just want you to die so this movie is over. I was on the side of evil.
I kind of thought that too. And it wasn't that I wanted him to die. It's just like I kind of released released it, and I was like, I cannot care about what happens to these people because it's. And there were times when I was like, no more, I can't do anymore.
Right.
Stop it. It's got to end.
That was me like at the very beginning of the movie.
Okay, so this is when the shit starts to go down.
Yeah, this is when shit goes sideways.
And this is when we start to see a lot of the camera angles and just creepy shit. He starts having like the choking reaction, like when he's smoking.
Right, when
Yes.
he gets high.
And I was like, dude, it's just pot. But he can't breathe. Like his throat. He says his throat's closing up like hers.
Like hers was. Yeah.
And as a former pothead, and Jen, maybe you can chime in on this too. If you're going through some, if you're going, you have not smoked weed.
Oh yeah. I may have known a few people who have smoked weed who have shared their experiences with me. So,
Like
yes.
Clint.
There you go. Yeah, if you have some dark shit going on in your head and you get high, your brain can really turn on you.
Yeah.
And so I have had experiences like that before where I feel like I can't breathe. I'm
Just hold my hand. Just hold my hand.
Yeah, that was
A
weird.
bad
That
trip.
look on that dude's face.
It was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what we forgot though is this when she ran into Ann Dowd at the Joann's Fabric.
Yes.
Oh,
And she was
that's
like,
right.
oh my
Yeah.
god, guess what I just found out? And I knew it. I was like, she's gonna fucking try to do a seance with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And
Well,
so
I
they
was
hinted
lost because I went to the bathroom during that part and I came back during the seance. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck did I miss?
yeah.
They hinted at the seance thing because there was a flyer for the open seance.
Right. And I'm kind of glad they didn't show us going to a seance and like having all the people sitting around. Like at first I was like, what? She's all of a sudden the leader of the seance? Like clearly she's a witch. But I mean, I like that they didn't waste time on that
Right.
because it's already long enough. She starts to lose it and I can understand. You know, she's like, I want to see my daughter? Do I want to hear? It's like the monkey's paw, you know, like you want to have that contact again, but do you really? Like, can you actually handle it? So Ann Dowd contacts her grandson, or does she? Because she's part of the witch coven.
Yeah, we don't know.
She's definitely making shit move.
Yeah.
And she is, well, I mean, it probably really is her grandson because,
she's making contact with
although we
something.
don't really know what the
Right.
witch's powers are.
Right.
So she could have been making all that happen, but supposedly the grandson writes down, what does he write down?
I love you,
I love you,
Granny.
Granny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, look, I have this sketch pad. It
A
used to belong
chalkboard
to
sort of
or
thing.
chalk,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it was. A chalkboard used to belong to him, and wrote that down. So
Yeah, and you know, Annie doesn't want to do it, and she's really like,
She's
you
really
have to come
flipping
with me. I
out.
promise it'll make
Yeah.
you feel better. Like really insistent on it too. And so she gives her the paper, and she's like, you have to read it. You have to do all this stuff. And then she's like, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
And it's not.
if she had
It's
just
not.
left without those instructions,
Yeah.
maybe shit wouldn't have gone down.
Yeah. I mean,
Does anything happen in between? I mean, I think her trying it happens pretty quickly after that,
it
right?
does.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some various dreams or something, or like Peter in school kind of flipping out a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
he's flipping out. He's hearing things. Has he seen Charlie in the corner yet? I don't think that's happened yet.
No, that all happens after the seance that she does.
Yeah.
So she does a seance in their house and then wakes them up to show them what she did.
Oh, that's right,
And
yeah.
she does it all again. And then that's when Charlie's voice goes into the mom. And that messed me.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Oh man, that
was
got me
fucked up.
too.
That
But it
was-
wasn't like her actual voice, though, was it?
It was her voice.
No, it
was
was
it?
her
Okay,
voice.
all right.
Yeah, and she's like, "Mom, what's happening?"
Yeah.
Which,
Why is everyone
like,
scared? Why is
Right.
everyone scared? Yeah.
Right.
if it's your daughter
Oh,
that you're
God.
talking to, that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear, "Hey, Mom, I'm fine. You don't have to worry about this anymore."
That
you
is
know?
not what was
and that is
happening.
not
Yeah.
what she
No.
heard. There's like breaking shit and like traumatizing her son and her.
Oh, yeah.
husband.
The Peter's like yelling, please stop this.
Yeah.
Right.
It was-
Like it's already been bad enough. Please, you're not going to get the relief you need. Like that, you just have to deal with it.
It wasn't like super, super scary. I was just so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That at the
Right.
end of it, I was like, I think I realized that I hadn't been taking deep enough breaths.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't stop breathing because I would have passed out because it was
But
so
yeah.
long. But like, I do remember going,
Yeah.
We were
There-
What the
basically, we
fuck
were
is
basically
happening?
Gabriel Byrne in the scene.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, this needs to stop.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the definition of terror, well, Stephen King's definition of terror is that terror is like the sense that things are coming undone. And that is exactly what this movie is. You know, it's just like the weird angles. And like when she wakes the son up to go do the seance, the camera is like right in their
Oh,
faces and
yeah.
it's sideways. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like clearly manic, you know?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't know if this is another dream that she's having.
Yeah.
And she does, like, the son didn't even hear what she said the first part. It's just starts to feel like,
Lots of emotions.
oh God, yeah. Freud said that the root of horror is when your home doesn't feel like your home anymore.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Which is exactly, like, you just don't feel safe anywhere in this house.
Nope.
You know, and like, yeah.
Fuck this house. Well, we don't know what we're getting into because we didn't know much about the movie, right? We knew it was going to be
Yeah.
intense.
I never
but-
watched a trailer for this going into
Did you
it.
not?
I wouldn't let you guys tell me anything about it.
Yeah, even the trailer's freaky.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, maybe we should have taken a couple days and then recorded. But it's like, hey,
No.
you're getting the full experience,
this is-
man.
Yeah.
If you're going from the theater listening to this podcast, you feel like we feel, probably, if you have a soul.
Or you're a sociopath.
Right, or dead inside.
Yeah, my ex would be fine with this then.
Oh.
Nailed it.
What, that or your ex?
Hey, yo.
No. Her and the guy she was fucking.
Oh.
I was waiting for the dirty
Yeah.
jokes.
Got to deal with your feelings, Todd. You know,
Yeah, at some
we see
point.
what happens when you don't. So she, part of the seance is Charlie's supposed to start drawing on her book,
Yes.
and it's not really happening yet. But then we see it happening later on, and drawing pictures
When it's on
of
her
the
bed.
son. Yeah, on her bed.
Yeah.
But she's the only one who sees it. Annie's the only one. And it's pictured over and over pictures of Peter with his eyes crossed out, which I was like, fuck, he's gonna poke his eyes out, and I'm gonna have to watch
Or
it.
something,
I was
yeah.
kind of looking forward to that.
What is
I kind
wrong
of
with
want.
you?
I kind of want a little bit of gore. You know, I
mean,
like
I
my
think
gore.
There wasn't enough gore. You just,
There was not enough
Oh,
gore.
please,
no,
no.
that was the
Oh,
only
my
scene where there
God.
was real gore. That was
Yeah.
it.
Well, and when she decapitated herself on a post, that was some gore.
You don't really see that. You see like
I don't know.
you see
I
like
looked
the
away.
impact sort of a thing.
That's what I was about to say. You don't see any blood
You
for
don't.
sure. You just kind of.
You see the decapitated head on the side of the road covered in ants, though. That fucked with me
Oh,
too.
that was fucking awesome.
Oh, my God.
Love that.
The
I mean,
tongue.
it did not help with the disturbance factor, but it. I'm like,
dude.
well, that's cool.
Yeah, and this is the part where I think she wakes up and she sees the trail of ants leading to her son, who's got ants all over him.
Yes.
Yeah, I legit did not think that was a dream. I thought he
I
is
did
dead
too. I
now
was like,
too. Yeah,
he
and
killed
I'm like,
himself. That's what I
God damn
thought.
it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they weren't around. He took pills or something.
And was that the part where like she started trying to pull his head off from
Well-
behind the bed? Or was
That
that
was
a
a
different
dream
time?
that he was having.
Well, no,
and at
we-
one point
But
there's
she
like
was
a
in the room.
She was in the room. So, like, this is the way the scene unfolds. She follows the ants from her bed to his room. He's covered in ants. He wakes up. Hands come out from behind the bed.
well, she
starts
wakes
pulling
up.
him.
That's her dream, and then
Yeah, I think you're right. But there's
then
another one.
Her dream and his dream were back to back. I
That's-
remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's what. And
Because
then he has a
wakes
dream
up-
that somebody's like, because
Yeah.
there's nothing behind his bed is against the wall.
Yeah.
So I found it. I'm like, there's no way that somebody can be behind.
But then because I was looking for this later on when she's standing over in the corner, like, I wasn't trying to pull your head off. Don't tell your father that just happened.
Right.
Like, there's a space. Like, I saw a space that she could have been standing there.
Oh, all right. Well, it was unclear. We never really figured it out
Right.
if she really was back there.
I thought it was
yanking at him.
Charlie. Because it may have been until you saw
yeah.
her in the room. I thought, like, when you just saw the arms, I thought it was Charlie.
Did it look like tomboy hands, or did it look like Tony
Just
Collette
looked like
hands?
hands.
It looked like I assumed it was the mom's hands, but I mean I don't know, man. Like there's no telling.
She goes back to. Doesn't she go back to visit the lady?
Yeah,
a couple
she goes
more
back to visit
times?
the lady. She
Yeah.
can't, like, nobody's there.
Right.
And then we see inside that there's, like, the altar table with that triangle and her son's picture, Peter's
Yeah.
picture in the middle.
But she
And-
doesn't see it because the door's closed.
And then there's, like, the little things that Charlie was always making laying next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the ones that Charlie made. We
Right.
saw
I did not pick
Charlie
up
Yeah,
on
the
these.
making
exact
There's so
those
much
things.
shit I did not pick up
Yeah.
on.
Too busy laughing at Todd.
A little bit.
I mean, there were many, many moments, and we're getting to my biggest scare of the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. I think it was everybody's.
Where I almost stood up, I jerked so hard and yelled "fuck"
Yeah.
in the theater.
Not in a
do you remember
pleasurable
that?
way.
yeah. Yeah. Was this the?
Wait, are we there yet?
I don't think we're there yet in the.
We'll talk about it when we get
need
there.
to cover Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah.
So she goes. She can't get a hold of the.
Can't get a hold of Andout,
Right.
yeah.
So she goes
Oh,
home
and
at the
this
same
is- Peter
time.
has been
yeah.
smashing
At
his
the
face
same
on the
time.
desk.
That's the same day.
Yeah.
Peter
When
goes
he's-
crazy
When he's looking at his reflection in that glass,
Oh,
and it's that
God.
smile,
Yeah.
and then he starts smashing his. Oh, I was so fucked
And
up
he just
by that.
holds his
Yeah.
hand up like that, and I thought he was going to, like, claw his eyes out.
Right. I did think it was really really funny that the teacher was like, oh, because he thought he was raising his hand.
Yeah,
at first.
Yeah.
He was like,
but
oh,
like,
Peter.
why are you? Did you see the guy that was filming it on his phone?
No, I didn't. That's funny.
Yeah. Everybody else is like losing their shit.
Oh, wow.
And he was
okay.
like, yo,
And there
do
was
it
a
for the vine.
Right,
That's
right.
fucking funny.
Oh, and she went up to the attic and she found, because she was going through her mom's stuff.
Oh, that's right. That's
and
right.
she went up to the attic and she
Yeah.
found a body, which I think we all know that was her mom's
Assumed it was the
body.
grandma's,
Assumed.
yeah.
I mean, there's no head, so who knows? And then the symbol on her attic wall right over that.
Yeah.
So she's running out to tell Gabriel Byrne that this shit has been going on,
And he
he's
brought
like,
Peter home.
yeah, and he is already, they had a call where he was like, look, I can't deal with your shit. I have to protect my son. And I also kind of think that you're trying to mess with my son. So
Yeah.
peace out. So then they're talking and she's like, I know what to do. It's my fault. You have to burn this book. Oh, and she'd
The
already tried
sketchbook.
to burn the book
Yeah.
and it caught her arm on fire on the side of it. So she knows that she's connected to this thing, which I don't think she is. I think this is just a way to.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's got that kerosene.
I mean, we learned she isn't connected to it.
Right.
Because of what happens to Gabriel Byrne.
Right.
Spoiler alert, he gets burned. Nailed it.
I mean, his name is, you
Right.
know.
How
But
did we not
you
see
guys
that coming?
See that big can of like kerosene in the hallway? And I was like, fuck, somebody's about to get burned. Like when she walked by, there was that big red thing, like right in the middle of the floor. Anyways,
Yeah.
so she lights the book on fire, or she douses the book with all this shit. And she's like, you have to do this. And she says her goodbyes. And that started
Yeah.
to get me too.
I mean, yeah, because she.
Fuck, she's just destroying her family and she knows it, but what's she going to do, you know?
Well, yeah, but I do feel like the character thinks that she is willingly killing herself.
Yes,
to
she
protect
does.
Peter, who was asleep upstairs because they probably gave him some pain meds or whatever for his face. He had smashed into his desk like 9 times.
Yeah.
But she is saying goodbye, like, you're the love of my life. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry that this happened.
And I
I'm
can't
so
do it because I'm too scared.
Right.
Like, you have to do this.
You have to throw this in the fire.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my next question because I do not remember that line. I was like, why couldn't she throw it into the fire?
She does
couldn't
throw it
do
in
it. Well,
eventually.
she ends
She
up
does.
doing it, yeah.
'Cause he
but
won't.
Okay,
Because he's
so
like,
she-
I'm not playing this game anymore.
Which
We
at
need
this
to-
point,
Oh my
you've
God.
seen
You
the
have seen
seance
the
work.
craziest
You've
shit.
seen
You've seen the
supernatural
body
shit.
saw the
in
body
the attic.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it. Come on.
But she is also like, she does need some help. Like, she's starting to lose it, and she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
whenever
Yeah.
she's talking to him, she's like all manic, but also crying. And
I mean, his question when he gets down from the attic of why didn't you call the cops is
Right.
what they
Yeah.
should have done immediately.
And he had one line where he's like, you did all of this when you said you were going to the movies.
Yep.
Like, 'cause she kept
Yeah.
lying to him and she was really going to
Yeah.
like the grief group or
well,
whatever.
she only went to the grief thing once, really, and twice, I guess, because she
Yeah.
met Joanne.
That's
who is-
true.
but so,
yeah, he was just kind of like, you stole the body. He accused her of stealing the body.
yeah, which I don't think she did.
she might have. She
Although,
sleepwalks.
I mean, she
yeah.
could be an unreliable
It might have
narrator.
been her version of Tyler Durden. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
there
mean,
are really
we don't
no
know.
answers because by the end of this movie, we're like, oh, there are other
Right, there were enough people. Like, Ann
spirits
Dow could have
and-
just like done
Oh,
the
yeah,
body,
yeah, it could have
you
been,
know, or
yeah.
all those naked
like
people.
living and dead. Like there's a bunch of crazy shit going on. So she
throws the book in the
Gabriel,
fire.
yeah, throws a book in the fire,
And
and
he
plot twist,
ignites.
he catches on fire this
Yeah.
time.
I saw that coming, but
Yeah.
which also just sort of
I didn't.
That was the
didn't?
first
No.
signal to
Oh.
me that there are no rules. Like the rules
Yeah.
can just sort of change whenever
Yeah.
the witches or whatever the fuck want them to change.
Which is just so unsettling.
Yeah,
You know, because like
anything
you
can
at least
happen.
like I think that's one thing I like about slashers is that there's a formula, and I kind of it might
There are
be
rules to
scary.
follow.
Right, exactly. And it's just like when the film doesn't even follow its own logic, you
Right.
know? Like, oh, it's because then you don't, I mean, what the fuck is going to happen, you know? So then he burns alive, and he loses his head but it was weird because they didn't show his head gone. They just showed his body up to his head.
yeah.
Yeah, and they don't really show him being burned much. And so for a second, after they don't shy away from anything else before that, I thought, are we going to watch this guy like burn until he dies?
Yeah.
Because I thought that's what was going to happen, and then it didn't. And so I was like, okay.
I was
so they cut away
grateful
from
for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
afraid
'cause
of
that
that
would have been
too.
too much.
But I was like, not D'Artagnan.
Yeah.
I already
Also, at a
watched
certain
him die a
point,
man
you're
in
going
the
to get an
eye, man.
NC-17 for this shit, so
Right.
you got to
Yeah.
watch it. And
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked we got an R just for what we saw, but
Yeah.
And
So-
there was also a lot of dick coming up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. We're about to
yeah.
get into a lot of old nakedness.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
that's
God.
when Peter wakes up.
Peter, no, well, she gets possessed, or she like breathes in something, and that's when she can fly.
Oh, that's right. It cuts from him burning to her face, and
Yeah,
she
and she's
switches
like-
over, like something
kind of
takes
like
over.
when she had
I
the voice
remember
of
that.
Charlie before.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so then we cut to Peter, and he's just asleep in his bed, and he's looking at stuff. And I think they did a really good job of misdirecting this, because I kept thinking he was looking at something, and I was like, okay, well, they're going to show over to what he's looking at.
He's looking
And they
he's
didn't.
looking outside where the treehouse is.
Oh, that's right.
because
'Cause
that's
the lights
was
on.
because the light was on.
Yeah.
But
then,
yeah.
And
holy
then,
shit,
yeah.
all of a sudden, like, I think I even pointed to it in the
You
theater.
did,
Then-
because
yeah.
I saw it before then. But when you pointed, when you just moved, it freaked me out. I was like,
sorry.
just
That's
because
what
of the movement.
That's what the Paranormal Activity movies are like.
Yeah.
Like that scene is like.
Yeah.
It could
Fuck
be. Yeah.
that,
It's-
man.
yeah, okay, so what it is that we see is that Toni Collette, Annie the mom, is just like in the corner,
She's
like the top
ninja'd up in the
of
corner,
room.
yeah, but like looking down on him, and she
Right.
is like a statue.
Yeah.
By the
she's-
way, did not see her. I heard everybody's reaction, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What?" And then I started looking in the corners.
everybody in the theater was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck?"
Yeah.
And like some people were pointing,
So they shall remain nameless. So then,
and then they just sat with it for like 30 seconds
Oh,
of him
yeah.
like waking up, and then like he starts to turn, and then she just like scurries out of the room on
But-
the ceiling, or like floats.
no,
scurries.
she is like crawling on air out
Yeah.
of the room.
Oh.
Did you guys hear the guy behind her go, "Fuck that," or
Yeah.
whatever? That shit was
Wow.
fucking funny.
Yeah. Woo.
Oh, and that was when the couple next to us like boned out.
Yeah.
I heard her.
And he dropped his phone, and then
Yeah.
he had to go back and look
Yeah,
for it.
I heard her go, "I want to leave." And,
Really?
Oh yeah, because she was
Yeah.
like 2 seats down from me,
Yeah.
and she goes, "I want to leave."
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
Yeah.
he was like, "Okay," but he dropped his
Yeah.
phone. And he had to go back in during that fucking terrifying scene.
Oh.
Yeah. There was a girl behind me during that scene. She was like, "Nope, I've had enough."
Yeah.
That's what she.
Well, and there was even before that, there was a group of 4 ladies up in front of
Yeah,
us who
I
had
think
left.
they were like teenagers.
yeah, they
were
fucking boned out.
Yeah, like after the car wreck.
How many
Yeah.
people do you think like were maybe either on dates or whatever when like one of them asked the other to go, and they're like, "Listen, I know nothing about this movie." but-
Right.
Yeah. And they're like, "Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
you
like
know, it'll be
horror."
fine. Or he's thinking this is a time to like put my arm around her. 'cause
Yeah.
It's a scary movie.
You know,
Yeah. And then
great time to.
I'll
impress
probably
your
tell the story on a
boyfriends.
later podcast, but like that happened to me in high school at a horror movie, and that was the only. We'll talk about it
Oh,
later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Friend.
But yeah, what could have been?
Oh, try not to think.
No,
about-
whatever. Well, I'll tell you guys later. But yeah, it was
So,
terrifying.
Yeah. So then Peter walks down the stairs.
Because he still has no idea that she was in the corner,
Right. No.
crawled out of the room on air. Like he thinks he's by himself. He hears a bang or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes
I think
downstairs.
he just throughout starts hearing.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
And
the
then-
sound that Charlie used to make.
Yeah. Oh, and the time that she heard it in the car, you jumped too.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yeah.
did.
Oh, my God.
Holy shit.
But yeah, anyway, so he walks downstairs and then he walks into
Sees
the
the
room where the
dad.
dad is burned, and
Yeah.
she's again up in the
But
corner.
we don't see that yet. What we see first, no, we do see her in the corner.
Yeah.
But then we see the guy just
There's a
standing in the
naked
the
doorway.
naked dude
Man.
smiling in the
Grinning.
doorway.
Smiling in
yeah.
the doorway,
Holy
and
shit.
I am now like, there are goddamn, like
Yeah,
none of
I
this
was
makes
like,
sense. Like this
right,
is starting
like,
to not
we
make
are
sense.
unsafe.
Right? Does he turn? Oh yeah, he does turn and look up, and she's not there anymore.
Because then she's on the floor running at him.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody in the theater screamed.
Yeah, that was when I
Yeah, that's when
literally
you stood
almost
up.
stood up and said,
Yeah.
"Fuck!" And
Is
then
that
like,
Sort
part
of
you were
like in a
talking about?
corner on the ground.
Yeah.
Right, and then kind
Yeah.
of runs
she
out.
went from the upper corner when he was looking at the guy, I presume,
Yeah.
is when
Great.
when she's supposed to have been moved into the corner, sort of on the other side of where the dad
Yeah.
was, the
Yeah.
dead body of the dad.
Jen, have you ever
Fuck
seen?
me, I hated this movie.
Have you ever seen The Visit?
Yes.
This, parts of the ending, the last few scenes remind me of The Visit, which will make Todd watch.
That was a good movie.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just people not acting like you expect people to act.
Yes.
Or just standing without clothes on is
yeah.
just
What
creepy.
the fuck? What
Yeah,
the fuck?
People
Just
that
in
shouldn't be in
general?
your room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'll say this. I
does
sort of
he-
enjoy seeing people standing around me naked when they're hot and
Depends
super
on
into
who the
me.
person is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if it's like a hot lady, I'm into it.
Well,
Yeah,
all that
and if
is
she'll-
all that is relative. I
Right.
mean, somebody was attracted to that naked old man. I don't know. Not,
deserve
not
love
any of
to.
us,
With
but
a grin
somebody in
like
the
that?
theater.
Yeah. So anyway, she chases him up into the attic.
Right.
And then closes the door.
No, he closes the door.
He closes the door,
And
and,
locks
then
it.
she's
And
like,
she's, like, on the ceiling, banging her
yeah,
head.
Oh,
I thought that was awesome.
This
That
is the
scared
part that got me too
so
when he's
cool.
like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he stands up and walks over to where the grandmother's body was in the attic, and the grandmother's
Right.
body is gone. There's a ring of like candles, and his photos in the middle of it,
With his
and
eyes crossed out.
Right,
No.
and this whole time there's
Burned
that
out.
naked lady behind him.
Yes. There are a couple of naked ladies in the attic.
Yeah, there are,
And, like, they're
not
just-
like hot
Bare.
naked ladies.
Yeah.
We're talking
Naked
fupa
ladies.
naked ladies.
Yeah, yeah. And then that symbol. And then what does he do? He just like jumped out the window.
Yep. And the audience was like, I'd have done that too.
Right.
At that
Yeah.
point,
We were all like,
I mean,
yeah,
there-
what
but
else do you do?
There was something that drove. Oh, he's trying to wake himself up, so he's slapping himself in the face.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
he's like, I gotta wait. All I gotta
Yeah,
do is
he
wait. All I gotta do is
thinks
wake
he's
up. All I gotta do is wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then something happens, and he freaks out, jumps out the window.
Yep.
Oh.
Attic full of
Oh,
naked.
it's the mom. The mom.
It's the
is
mom
hovering
cutting
at the
her
top,
head off.
cutting her head off.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was probably the best part of the
Ooh,
movie.
I
It
didn't
was
Fuck,
so
that was
cool.
the
Yeah.
best part.
Well, I thought
You're
they were going to keep it.
insane.
I thought they were going to keep it on her until she severed her own head, and I was disappointed.
She's got like
So-
a garrote.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
two
by
of
the way,
them.
so he falls out of the window into the kind of like the flower
garden,
bed, and I
yeah.
really thought he was going to be okay because it looked like
Yeah.
there was enough soil to kind of cushion his fall. So we hear her finishing the decapitation,
Yeah.
right? I thought her head was going to come out the window and like fall on his fall next to him,
Mm-hmm.
which would have been awesome. But-
Well, you see the shadow kind of float over him, and when
Yeah.
he gets
Right.
up,
No, then you see the light go into the back of his chest.
the light that's been leading people.
Yes.
I
places,
wasn't
yeah.
a fan of the whole light thing. That was one of the things I,
didn't
thought was
hate
a little
that.
cheesy.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Huh?
liked it.
You didn't hate
It
it?
was okay.
I don't know
I
how
thought it was
else-
too poltergeisty.
It was. I don't think
I
it was
could see that.
overused though. Like they used
Yes.
it pretty sparingly. But I don't know how else you would have
That's what I was gonna
denoted
say,
that
too,
the
yeah.
spirit was something was going into him. You know.
I guess.
But
yeah.
that being said, he stands up and you see the decapitated like body, no
Yeah.
head, of the mom floating up into the treehouse.
Yeah,
was
and the music
cool.
has changed at this point.
Oh, it's almost
too.
Yeah.
happy.
It's like celebration, like
Yeah.
Wicker Man at the end music. You
They're like,
know?
what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and so then
I
he.
hated this movie.
Oh, it was the last 20 minutes were the best.
Oh,
I
God,
just
yeah.
was very fucked up by the first half.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I forgot about that because I was so scared of what was going to happen at the end.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's good.
So he climbs up into the attic, and it's just all the naked people kneeling
candles,
down at the altar, and
and the altar, which is like a gold statue with Charlie's head and a crown on top.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is where it gets very confusing for me, and I'll probably ask some questions in a second. But what he sees is he sees one row of people. These are the old naked people.
Except
Yes.
Andowd is not naked.
Not naked, but
probably
they
not
have all
naked.
their parts and they're bowing before the statue. And then he looks, and there's another row of dead, decapitated
Oh, yeah.
people.
His mom
Yeah.
and his
mom
grandmother.
grandma.
and grandma.
And I think those were the only two decapitated people.
well,
Is that
except
it?
for Charlie, whose decapitated head was on the
right,
statue.
but I don't think her body was there because her
No,
body
I
got
didn't see her
baked-
body
Wait, her
either.
decapitated head was on the statue?
Yes.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
that's
that
what the
at
crown
all.
was
Yes.
on. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It
I thought
was,
it was just like an ugly
horrible.
dude.
And so then Andowd starts talking like it's just a close up of his face, like looking
Well, no,
around.
Andowd goes, you don't see her do this. I'm assuming it's her.
Yeah.
Grab the crown
crown.
and put it on his head. It's his apotheosis. So he's becoming this god.
And we forgot
Right.
to say this. We had seen in the book about spiritualism that there was this god that was trying to take over a human body, and that because he was male, he wanted a male body.
Yes.
Correct.
So this is what's now happening.
And it had
Right.
come up earlier because Charlie had said that Grandma wanted me,
Yeah,
Charlie,
Grandma
to
got-
be,
To
a,
be a boy.
but
Right.
but she wasn't a boy.
oh,
So-
yeah.
What does it? But why does it have to be somebody in this family, though? There's so much that isn't explained.
They
like,
don't
why
explain
can't they?
that.
They
Why
don't.
can't they just do it with literally any dude?
I
You know
assumed
what I mean?
that the grandmother had cast some kind of spell on her family, kind of like
Yes.
promising your firstborn son
Yes.
kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And
All
that's
right.
why. And it wasn't like this was just something terrible that happened to this guy. It was that this was part of the
Right.
promise because the family was going to have riches in the end.
Did you guys also think that maybe that tied into why Toni Collette didn't want
Didn't want to have kids. Didn't
wanna
want to have a son.
kids? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
some part of her maybe knew.
Yeah.
Like Corey kept looking at me and saying, she's schizophrenic, right? She's schizophrenic because the dad was schizophrenic.
That's
Remember they said that and he died of starvation?
Yep.
And her brother committed suicide because
also schizophrenic,
she said, blamed her mom. She kept trying to put people inside me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they make Peter the Kwisatz and he becomes...
And then Andow's saying this, and we just see his face. What?
So I just made like the strangest Dune reference, and Clint was like, "What?"
Didn't get it.
Yeah, if you guys watched Dune, you would have got that reference.
Yeah.
One person's like, "Huh."
It's very rare you pull one on us, but
that
you
was
did.
an okay reference.
You totally did.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Didn't get
No.
For that one?
No, it wasn't.
That's the only time it'll ever happen.
So then Andout is telling us, you are one of the 8 kings of hell. We will follow you. We will bind all men in this. And saying a bunch of scripture that I was like, if
This
I were an
is
actor.
We have corrected the
I'm
female
not saying
form.
this.
Movie
We
has
corrected your
gotten
gender.
dumb. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
I just thought this was all dumb.
Me too.
I thought
I
that
didn't.
you
The
could
whole
have
movie was dumb. I hated it. I can't wait to talk about
it
Urban
got
Legend.
you.
I really
Yeah.
thought you could have kept some of the same scares without the whole whatever the fuck, like worshiping this.
Oh no.
Well, they had to explain why things were happening.
why this was all happening.
It really
Yeah.
could have just been the grandmother just fucking with everybody, which she did.
She
but
did.
it's
but
yeah,
this
I
was
thought
the
it was
reason
too
that
much.
this was the end game. You know, this is what she wanted.
Yeah, I guess. I left kind of confused.
That's
I was
possibly
pretty
because you
confused.
weren't really paying attention to the
Yeah. That
movie.
is
You were
also
making
true.
fun of me the whole time.
Yeah.
That's
I was listening.
Because I understood what happened. And
I did too,
One of the
yeah.
reasons I didn't like the ending very much is because they set it up that she did it because it was going to pay off in the end for someone in the family
Right.
line. But the family line is completely dead. Like, there's no one that is alive anymore
Peter.
on the family. No, he's not Peter anymore.
Well, but I mean, Charlie. No, it's Charlie's spirit.
Charlie's dead.
But Charlie took over Peter's body. That's how they corrected the gender.
Right. But there is no member of that family that is still alive.
Peter's body is alive with Charlie's spirit.
okay. So why does it have to be Charlie's spirit?
It's not Charlie's
Because-
spirit.
Because
it's
they
the
did
devil.
some
Because
sort
the
of-
grandmother liked Charlie better. Remember at the beginning she said, I didn't let my mother near my firstborn, but then I gave her Charlie as a
Yeah.
peace offering.
Yeah.
And so and she got her hooks in her. And she always
yeah. Well,
loved her the
and
best.
she put the demon inside Charlie.
Yeah.
Right.
And Charlie just
Went with
was
it.
a female.
Right. Yeah.
And couldn't handle it.
Right. Oh, when Peter kills himself, jumps out the window. When he stands up, does he make that sound?
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he
yeah.
made that.
When
So he goes-
when he stands up from the flower
I'll
bed.
be
or-
honest
or
with
the
you.
garden.
I was looking away.
Were you?
My hand.
So but he does make it. It shows his mouth making
Yeah,
that
my
sound.
head was in my hands, and I was looking at the ground.
But
Yeah.
I mean, what does it really matter? Like, okay, all right, she liked Charlie more, right? I mean, I guess if it's going to be like an immortal,
I think if somebody's going to be like in charge of things, it should probably be a woman. And she knew that.
well, yeah, I mean,
No, she liked Charlie more because she put the devil inside Charlie.
Yeah.
She was not able to do it to Peter because Peter was not in her control.
Right.
The
I really
the
thought he would
grandmother.
have survived that fall, though. At least in by horror movie standards,
He did.
I
I think he did. His body did.
His body did, yeah.
Well, he would have had to have died for his soul to leave.
you would think
I don't
that.
know.
That
mean,
was my,
none of
that
this
was my
logic.
So
interpretation.
wait, do you guys think he's faking it? Like he's like, I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
And see if they think
Maybe
I'm actually this
they'll
devil.
leave.
And then tomorrow morning I'm going straight to the cops.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the clicking sound. They're gonna crown me.
Yeah.
they're gonna think I'm Charlie, and I'm getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I'm going to college.
Yeah. Maybe he goes to seminary after this.
Oh, he definitely needs to get right with God.
Yeah.
Sequel.
He needs Jesus.
Oh my God.
Hereditary 2.
The hereditariest. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, and that's the movie.
This movie fucked.
Jesus
And then the
Christ.
Joni Mitchell song. Was it Joni Mitchell?
Nobody
I
knows. There's
don't
no way to tell.
believe in clouds.
Yeah, good.
This fucked me up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I
like,
agree.
This, oh my God.
fucked
Yeah,
all
I
th-
still
fucked all
feel
three of
like
us up, yeah.
nauseous.
Yeah, driving back to here from the movie theater, I text my roommate and I was like, I need the porch light to be on when I get home. And
We're checking all the corners. We checked all
Yeah.
the corners at the
Yeah.
at the studio.
When
Dude, we walked into this apartment and Tom was freaking
please
out because
don't.
no
No,
one would
please
turn the
don't say
lights
it.
on.
yeah, And then you mess with one of the light switches. I couldn't turn some of the lights on. I was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, because I was fucking with light switches. I didn't know what was going on. I was freaking the fuck out. I needed to check the corners, and you have Spider-Man up in the corner just like she is.
Oh, that's a good point.
Fuck, man.
Spider-Man is hanging.
That's why I moved to this couch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I
really?
kept
It's
looking
also
over my
to note
shoulder.
that it's high off the ground like
It
she
is,
was.
yeah.
So yeah, that's funny.
And the arm's kind of weird. Like I was looking at her
wasn't
arm,
in,
and it
like, a
almost looked like her arm
sexual
was
position
in,
like
was part
Spidey
of the wall.
is. Yeah. Don't worry,
All right,
guys.
so
We're gonna scary
Captain
scale.
America's shield on my wall will protect us.
No, it
Will
won't.
it? I don't feel like anybody's safe anymore.
This is a fucking 10 for me.
Yeah.
If there could be anything higher than a 10, it would be higher than that.
I was thinking about that on the way home. I wasn't going to ask you until now, but I was like, he'll probably give this a 10.
Yeah, I fucking have never seen a movie this scary in my life.
Well, I mean, you've seen 5 or 6.
And that is
Horror
true.
movies, period.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
at
even
this point.
before we did this, you had said we're going to see this movie, and you might not.
We
be
had
able
a
to
lot of
handle it.
conversations about whether or not you could handle it, and we also gave you permission to leave.
And
if
you and
needed
I
it.
were like, I'm a little
We're
nervous about
nervous.
this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everything I heard was, the one quote was like, it's the movie that you dare your friends to watch and then immediately regret it. And you have to be like sadomasochist to watch this
I
movie.
fucking hated this movie.
I don't think I want to watch this movie again.
I'll never watch this
God
again.
damn it.
Yeah. Like,
I
okay.
have friends that want to go again. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it.
Dude, it
I don't
just
know.
was so like harrowing is the word that I kept reading
Yeah.
about it, and that's just what it is. Like I feel like The Babadook is a movie with similar themes to this.
That's true.
But it's an easier movie to watch.
Yeah, but no horrific deaths happen in that.
No, spoiler. But yeah. But man, this movie just like, it's like you're a dish towel and it's just wringing you out the
Yes,
whole
That's a good way to
time.
describe it.
yeah, absolutely.
And it's good. Like I feel like when I can step away from the emotion and look at it, like it's a really, really good movie. Really well done. It looks great. The shots are all
Superbly
great.
acted, like,
yes, there wasn't any weak links in it. You know.
No.
Yeah, the son was awesome.
Yeah, he's good in it. He was in
They all
Jumanji,
were.
by the way.
Yeah, he was also in My Friend Dahmer, which I have not seen.
They were
That's a
all
horror connection.
awesome.
They really were.
They really
His
were.
mole was great too.
It was. Well, and I like that
D'Artagnan was
because that's
great.
how we could tell that's what she'd been drawing, because
Yeah.
the mole.
Yeah. D'Artagnan was great.
And it didn't move around his face.
If a mole
Nice.
Yeah.
were to ever win an Oscar, it would be for this movie.
Yeah.
It was a big fucking mall.
It was.
So what? You guys got a scary scale of 2 because I can't do
Yeah,
one,
what do you
but-
think?
I'm giving it a 10, man.
Okay.
This movie got me where I live. Like this, like I said it earlier, this
Yeah.
is the personification of my fear as a person in life.
Yeah.
Okay, I would give it a 9.
Okay.
I don't really know if it's not the scariest movie ever. I don't know what the scariest movie ever would be to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're so immune. I don't know if anybody's
Yeah.
ever going to make anything. The last 10 minutes, they were rocking it, man. Like I was
Yeah,
pretty
man.
scared the last 10 minutes.
Do you mean the 10 minutes right before he jumps out the window? Because the last 10 minutes are like him becoming the god. or
Okay,
whatever,
all right,
but yeah.
all right. I would say at the start of her being up in that corner,
Yes.
that's when shit
Yeah.
got real.
That
And there are a
was-
lot of movies
yeah.
like that. Like you watch, like the Blair Witch remake and the
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity movies. They're very slow burns, but then the last 10 minutes is just like constant
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
slowly building. And see, here's what this movie did. Because one, I do think the scares hold up. You know, like it's very scary. But the first 45 minutes of this movie just break you down.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And so
what really fucked with
then
us.
when
I
it
think.
starts to
Yeah.
get scary, you are already broken apart. So
You are
it
vulnerable.
Just, exactly. It just like gets right in there and just like
Ugh. Yeah,
and that's
it was-
why it's so, because it's not, it just gets under your skin, you know. But it's still scary. Like I was afraid, like there were jump scares. There was I just felt unsafe watching this movie. And that's how I've heard Texas Chainsaw Massacre described. Like
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Is Texas Chainsaw Massacre scarier for you, or is this scarier? Because when we set up the scale originally, like 10 was like if it was like as scary as Texas, and I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know. I can't answer that question.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I remember Texas. We talked about this before. I remember Texas Chainsaw was the first movie a lot of people watched that felt like, oh, well, this could happen to me.
Yeah.
I could sort of be kidnapped by this crazy family.
Yeah. If you get lost in the woods, you're never coming back.
Yeah, and this happens during the day.
Yeah.
Like the movie,
Yes.
that's when I started to
And
feel
based
afraid
kind of
during
on a
the
true
day.
story.
Yeah, that's also true.
We'll talk about it in the episode.
I kept thinking about The Witch during this. I felt like
Yeah.
I was watching something
It's
I am not
A24.
allowed to watch. Like it's just
something that we shouldn't be seeing.
something forbidden.
Which is what they said
Yeah.
about The Witch. And that's A24, the same studio
oh, that's
that
interesting.
did The Witch
Okay.
in this.
Yeah.
And they did a couple other
The
ones.
Witch does sort of the same thing, not quite as well as Hereditary, but
Yeah.
The Witch will break you down too,
really
and
will.
then fucks with you in the end.
This really hurt me. Like I'm scared to
Yeah.
go home. I'm scared to fall asleep. Like I am.
Well, and see, that's the thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because I feel like the scares in Texas Chainsaw Massacre hold up, but still the feeling that we are with a filmmaker who is not safe, who is going to show us things that we can't handle seeing, you know? And I feel like it's the same. What pushes this ahead of Texas Chainsaw Massacre to me is the personal connection that I had with this movie, you know? And that's because those feelings of like confronting things that you don't want to admit about yourself, I think is terrifying too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big theme in this movie. It's just not dealing with your issues.
Fuck.
And then like your family is a witch, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
What would we say? Would we say this is maybe this isn't a cult movie, but I think
This is the definition of a cult.
yeah, I think
I don't know-
so.
I don't
it
know if
doesn't
it's-
ever specifically say that they are witches, although that's all I would say.
but-
Yeah, I don't know what what else to use.
What they're doing is a cult. Like they're bringing back a devil. Like one of
Right,
the yeah.
right.
It is a
So it
cult.
is
You
a
don't
cult.
know that you don't know that going in that it's going to be a
Right.
cult.
But I kept thinking she's a witch. She's a witch. She's a witch the
Right.
whole time. So I mean, I would put it in the category of witch movie, but also cult movie. Oh, one thing I found out was interesting about the girl. She is Slytherin house, which I was like,
What?
well, yeah,
Who?
Harry Potter.
What?
She's. Do you know
What fucking girl are we talking about?
Charlie?
Okay.
Yeah, I read a little.
Oh, was she in Harry Potter?
No, but she took her. She went on Pottermore and took her house sorting.
Try to keep up.
When?
I don't know. Sometime before the movie was filmed.
What?
Do you even know what
The
I'm
sorting
talking
The
about?
hat.
fucking actress did?
The sorting hat.
Who gives a
put
fuck?
her in
I do.
Slytherin.
I was like, yeah, Slytherin, because I'm Slytherin too.
So am I, but like,
yeah, are you really?
Fuck
Am I
yeah, I
sitting?
am.
I
Am
put you
I
as
sitting with
Hufflepuff.
two Slytherins right now?
What are you?
And
You're
just
totally
now figuring this
Slytherin.
out. I am fucking who? I am Gryffindor.
No, you're
well, no, you're not.
right.
You lied. You lied on that fucking test.
You're not.
Okay.
Do you know what your Patronuses are?
No.
I've never seen you so defeated.
I know. Oh, god damn. Yeah.
All right.
So
now
okay.
we're all gonna try to sleep.
9.
I give it a 9.
Clint's a 9. You're
I'm a fucking 10 for
I'm a
sure.
10 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Todd, I don't know if it's gonna get more scary than this for you. So like, if you can
That's
handle
true.
this.
We might show you
We are
some
gonna watch
slashers
Texas.
that
Yeah.
might be more intense than this just because you respond the most to jump scares.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's gonna be a movie that's gonna fuck with you more
This
than this movie.
That's
broke
true.
me down
That's true.
emotionally and then
Yes.
scared the fuck out of me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to walk to my car. I want to sleep in the studio until the sun comes up.
You can do that.
No,
We have 2 couches here.
I cannot sleep here with
Okay.
what's about to happen.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we're all gonna try to get some sleep.
So yeah, I don't think I'll sleep very well tonight, which is not uncommon for me. I don't sleep anyway because my life's in shambles. But like, I have to drive home, and I'm terrified to drive home. I'm terrified to get out of my car. I talked to Jenn. I was like, "You're walking me to my car after
Yeah.
this."
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys have
Okay,
to.
Yeah.
we will mutually check each other's back seats.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna call Todd at 3 a.m. like,
Fuck. That's no.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to answer my fucking phone.
yeah, don't do that. Just don't answer.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the next movie that we will be talking about will be what?
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
So next week will be Poltergeist. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It'll be thrilling.
And I'll say this.
You'll get a nice break with Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be nearly as intense.
Yeah,
fuck
god damn.
me.
I think we're all
hated
gonna go
this
just
movie.
like exhale a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go see it. I really enjoyed it.
I think you should go see it because if I had to fucking sit through it, I want you all to fucking sit through it. This terrified me. I'm so
Yeah.
scared.
Although, if you've listened to this entire podcast, you've probably already seen it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully 'cause we
And-
ruined it, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it helps me to know what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, man.
All
Yeah.
right. I'm Clint.
I'm the Virgin Todd.
I'm Jennifer.
Bye.